What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'll be checking Anthem running on Xbox Series X. Now the reason I want to check this game today is because this game received FPS boost patch a couple of weeks ago, way before Christmas. And of course, FPS boost makes this game to run at 60 frames per second, because before that it was locked to 30. Now, in its original form, when you run it on Xbox One X, for example, or Xbox Series X without FPS boost, this game will run at 30 frames per second and like 4K, or at least close to 4K. So the game offers very nice graphics, and graphics actually still holds up pretty well, up even to this day. And you know, that tells a lot about the Frost engine and that kind of stuff, but 60 is always better, and this is a type of game that better frame rate makes a difference, right? If you actually look at the particle effects and everything around, even like textures, and even though that this game is running at like below 1080p right now, even the texture work and everything looks nice. So first of all, let's check the video settings, because there's something that I don't particularly like, and if I were you, I would disable it straight away. So if you go to video settings and then graphics settings, first of all, disable motion blur. That's my opinion, right? I mean, if you've got this game running at 60, it's better to disable motion blur. Another thing that I would disable is obviously chromatic aberration, right? So it kind of adds this kind of weird filter. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't like it, so that's why I disable it. Make sure you confirm the changes, and let's get back to the game. So in my opinion, this chromatic aberration makes game feel like a little bit more blurry, and kind of colors are a little bit different. Right now the game looks much better. Another thing is that what motion blur does, it blurs the image. So obviously if you stand still, everything is nice and crisp, but when you start moving around, then the image blurs out. Now you don't need that when you run the game at 60 frames per second. So disabling these two things makes this game to look better. Now obviously when it comes to resolution, this game is running at 900p if I'm not mistaken. It's not even 1080p unfortunately, because basically what this FPS patch does, it makes this game to run at Xbox One level of graphics if I'm not mistaken. So that's like dynamic 1080p or like 900p I think. So but you know what, yeah, the game is a little bit blurry overall, especially if you look like further in the distance, but it still holds up. And if I were to play this game again, I would go with lower resolution and better frame rate, because okay. So beginning of the game is like you take part in that big battle and that kind of stuff, and against these anomalies, and you are being hit by something, and you kind of crash, and your suit gets kind of broken a little bit, and you need to kind of enable all your lost abilities. So like the very beginning of the game is like very simple, and I think that it's a very good place to show you around, especially that there's a lot of like environmental kind of effects over here. You see the wind and smoke and stuff, and how well it looks as well. So like I said, graphically speaking, this game still looks good. Like even the textures, these textures would look much better in 4K, with high resolution, but overall attention to details and the amount of details in this game is still quite impressive. Yeah, so far so good. Like smooth 60 frames per second, but let's face it, this is not like the big open world. But you know, we see some limitations of Xbox One version. Like if you look at the rocks far in the distance, you can see the LOD details change. So hopefully that these things will go away next generation. And yeah, the explosions actually look very good as well. That game is actually very nice looking overall. Now this particular level is not really impressive because later on the game opens up and of course offers much better graphics, more greens, more colorful kind of environments and stuff. So yeah, check it out. By the way, this game is in EA Play, and if you've got that subscription service, you can play it. Also, if you've got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, so EA Play is part of it, so you can play it via EA Play via Game Pass. That's what I do. Whoa, what happened? Yeah, there's some crazy explosions over here, of course, going on.
What the? Hey Miller, found your Titan. This cataclysm is creating them by the handful. Faye, you still there?
Yes, you've got down freelancers ahead, sending distress signals. They're the ones from Strider 2. The javelins need repair. Get them moving.
Oh,
There's 3
repair.
altogether. They're on short distance radio.
Okay.
Since I'm not connected to them, I might not be able to guide you.
I mean, you know what? This particular level of Anthem reminds me of Outriders, because in Outriders you had I wonder what game engine Outriders used, because like the graphic style is very similar, sort of. I wonder if they used the same engine, which is Frostbite. Yeah, so far so good. Like, you know, the game is smooth and it actually looks pretty okay, to be honest with you. I think they must be using good form of, like, some good form of anti-aliasing, because like usually there's a lot of shivering. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of shivering if you look, you know, far in the distance, but like at a close distance, like, it's not really that noticeable. I mean, of course, the presentation is a bit soft, of course, but it's not too bad.
Hang tight.
Thanks, brother.
Your cipher's in a coma.
It's a shame that this game never got like a proper support, because they had some plans to support it for like stuff years, and then it would probably receive some graphics improvements as well, but yeah, they just dropped it, unfortunately. Wow, that's a big guy.
Which way, Faye? Hey? Never mind. Titan here just blasted the wall out. Give me a shortcut.
Yeah, I can't fly yet. Later on in the game there is this flight ability as well, so I think that was the best Iron Man game you can ever play.
The Anthem. It wants to consume me. To show me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. The whole team from Strider 3 is gone. Strider 14 is in retreat. If they make it, mission seems doomed. retreat. I can hear the anthem of creation.
Hey, are we supposed to fall back? We're fine. We push on. Right, team? I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, the game is actually, you know, the gameplay loop stuff is very fun. I haven't played this game for a while now, so apparently they've introduced some quite a lot of changes throughout the years. So I may actually give it this game a try again.
Team, you need to retreat.
Game still looks good, even in 1080p or below that.
He's gone. I'm sorry.
You know what, like, even if it's not 1080p, it's close. It might be 1080p. They might have used some form of dynamic resolution scaling, and if they did, Xbox may be operating at a little bit higher resolution. But it's close to 1080p, so it's not like 4K or anything.
We got this bastard. We have to get out of here. No. We push on. We're the only ones left. Think about Miller and Adair. All the others. You being a coward. I'm no coward. No? You want to push forward until I get killed. Until we both get killed.
How about that? There's more of them.
Where'd that come from? No. Babe, we're coming back. No. It beat us, Halleck. We need to regroup. It can't beat us. Rookie, don't you dare pull me out of here.
Yeah, so they were defeated. Obviously, this game has got improved loading speeds. As you can see, it took like 10 seconds to load it.
We lost more than freelancers, more than friends and comrades. We lost the faith of the people we protect.
I remember when I did play this game on Xbox One X. Jesus, it would take like long minutes to load the game, like 1-2 minutes sometimes. So yeah, that was one of these games that were very that would take very long to load the game. 2 years after the event. Oh, so now the game will show you a little bit of a better side of its graphics, meaning that like colorful environments, which I love.
I'm at the coordinates, Owen.
Impressive entrance as usual.
Nice to be appreciated.
Don't sell yourself short, mate. Cypher couldn't ask for a better partner.
You could ask, but not many of us left.
The relay's a short flight away.
Easy contract.
Yeah, so
Easy keeps you alive.
well, now we'll be able to fly around really a little bit here as well. And the game looks really good. Yeah, shame that they don't support like 4K over here, because that would make a huge difference in my opinion, but you know, it is what it is. There we go, now I can fly. The game opens up. No, actually, I don't remember this volcano over here, so they've changed things a little bit. Look at the LOD loading. The rocks. Yeah. Because like this is the Xbox One version running at 60 frames per second. That's what FPS boost does, unfortunately. I wish they at least try to run the Xbox One X version, because it was much better. It had more details, higher resolution, better LOD and stuff, right? So it's a bit of shame, but it is what it is. I mean, I still have got an option to play it at 4K 30, but yeah, I mean, listen. Like I said before, I rather place at 60 than 30, even at high resolution. Okay, can I kill it?
This Koroks look feisty today.
Okay.
Why do they stick to eating plants?
You know what? Another thing is that like it's weird because like when you kill and look at the actual
At least nothing's trying to eat you. Not like that job in Darkwood.
pop in, like yeah, this is what Xbox One version of game looks like, unfortunately. Shame, but you know, like at least it's running at 60 frames per second, so I can't really complain much. Yeah, let's fly a little bit. You know, the flying is actually very well made.
Oh, hey, look, some rabbits doing whatever
It
rabbits
feels very good. The only thing is that obviously you need to make sure that you don't overheat. Like I need to land right now. Otherwise it will overheat. If you fly through like water tank or something like that, then that's fine. Okay, where do I go now? This way.
going into the ravine.
So now playing this game at 60 frames per second with much shorter loading
I need you to access it.
times makes this game worthwhile playing again, to be honest with you.
Stick close so I can get a reading on the shaper energy. Hang on. I'm detecting them. Looks like scorpions.
Where's these scorpions? They're scorpions. Yeah, shooting feels very good as well. I'm actually enjoying this game. You know, gameplay and stuff.
Hang in there. I'm still waiting for a reading. Owen, almost got it. All right, readings are coming through.
Okay.
What? It's mostly normal.
Mostly? This is the early warning system. If it's detecting something,
Yeah, no sign of shaper energy. Head to the next sensor. Oh, waterfall ahead if you want to cool your suit.
I would love to have that such a suit.
You're coming up on the next sensor. Check it out for me, will you?
Hello, little fellas. How's it going? What are you doing here? Eating something? Don't look at me like that. You don't like my suit or something? Get out of here.
Wait there while I get a reading.
no sign of scorpions at least.
Okay guys, listen, so that's the game. It runs very well, even in like open parts of the game. Stable 60 frames per second. I mean, no surprise there really, because if you really think about it, this is Xbox One version of the game running at 1080p or like even I think it's 1080p. And even the level of details is from Xbox One really, so no hitches. Game looks just okay in that with these settings and stuff, but it's super smooth and
We're in the heart of Rage.
yeah, I think it's worth playing again.
See these ruins? There's a theory a shaper relic flipped.
Yeah,
Grab it.
I mean the game is very nice looking. I wish Xbox introduced like an option to
Last sensor
allowed us to play these games at both 4K and 60, even with some frame rate dips here and there. You know, if you enable VRR, you know, that shouldn't be a problem, right? So it's a shame that they don't allow it. Actually, I had a chance to speak with Jason Ronald. I mean, we exchanged DMs, and you know, I kind of said that like it would be cool to have that kind of option. So yeah, they you know, he did say that, you know, they'll think about it and stuff, so who knows, right? So Alright guys, so listen, that's the video. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for support, really appreciate it. Of course, make sure you share the videos and consider subscribing for more content like this if you happen to like the videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.